So Bill, I started the meeting so that the attendees can log on.
Okay. Sorry, I had somebody tie me up. Do we have everybody, Joanne?
Sal DiStefano is not coming,
Right, he did tell me that.
and I'm not sure about Jacob Taylor. He accepted it, but I'm not sure. He didn't say he wasn't coming.
Okay. He didn't tell me either. Usually he does.
We do have a quorum to start, though.
Okay, and why don't we open the meeting?
Okay, you're live and we're being recorded.
All right, consistent with chapters 107, the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be conducted by remote participation. Public may not physically attend this meeting, but every effort will be made to allow the public to view and listen to the meeting in real time and participate when necessary. All right, so we have that out of the way, the legal stuff. Hopefully we won't have to say that much longer, but first on the agenda is the approval of the December 1st minutes. Has everybody reviewed the minutes, and do we have any comments on it? Not seeing any comments. Do we have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept the minutes.
We have Chad for a motion. Do we hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kevin. Roll call vote, please.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Chad Johnson,
Yes.
Kevin Gargan,
Yes.
Joe Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Tom Sayers,
Yes.
and Joanne Sinos, yes. The motion passes.
Okay. Our first special event is 2254 Cape Ann Symphony, Gloucester's 400th pop concert on July 30th, 2023, with a rain date of July 31st, 2023 at Stagefoot Park, Area B. Is somebody here for the Cape Ann?
Yes, this is Tom Mantle. I'm the member of the board and the past president and the treasurer of the Cape Ann Symphony, and I put the special permit application together. And there should be on the line my colleague Jody Nedrew Coonahan, who's also a member of the board, and she's going to be the project manager for this project.
Oh, I just brought her in also. Okay.
Jody, are you there?
Hi, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you give us your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, it's Jody Nedrow Coonahan. Do you want that spelled?
No, I can see it.
Okay, thank you, Joanne. And I'm at 1 Lafayette Lane in Wenham.
And my address is 1037 Washington Street here in Gloucester.
Okay, you want to give us a quick overview of what we can expect to see on the July 30th?
I have a slide presentation that if I have permission to share the screen, I can walk it through you like we did for the mayor and the chief administrative officer.
That'd be great. You have a problem with that, Joanne?
But Joanne, I don't know how to share my screen. I don't know how to share my screen in this particular.
Okay, so at the
webinar.
bottom of the screen, do you see a little green button that says share screen?
No, not in a webinar format.
Okay, Joanne, I think you need to come in as a participant. Can we do that? You're muted, Joanne.
He has to come in as a panelist. Okay, let me
Yes.
see
Yes.
if I can move him as a panelist. Hold on. Okay, I just promoted him to a panelist.
Okay, you should see the button now and you should be able to do that, Tom. You're muted, Tom. There you go.
Okay, this is a presentation that we put together that explains what we're about, what we're trying to do. Okay, so the symphony has performed, has had an outdoor pops concert at Stage 4 Park 5 times in relatively recent history, 2000 through 2004, during those summers. I was not here then, but by all reports, they were well attended and well received by the community. We had planned one in 2009, but we couldn't pull that off because of the Great Recession. So the concept is a free outdoor evening concert at Stage 4 Park, the last weekend in July 2023. We have a 5-day window in the Gloucester 400 calendar, 27th through the 31st, I believe. And that's because that allows for a primary date of Saturday, the 29th of July, a backup date of Sunday, the 30th of July, and a day or two before and after to accomplish setup and breakdown. The seating area, we thought it would be open at 4 p.m., but we're not planning on putting up any barriers or having gates or anything like that because it is free. So I guess people will be, like for the Horribles Parade, they'll be free to come in anytime and stake out their claim to a piece of property in the park. We suggest that we talk to the GHS Docksiders as a warm-up act before the symphony comes on. We'd begin about 7:30. We'd end about 9. There'd be 2 acts with an intermission, which I can show you what that is. And based on the previous events, it could be anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 people. So this is the tentative program. It's we're potentially working on a couple of modifications, maybe a different piece, substitute one way or the other. There's a recent Rob Bradshaw piece put together called Celebration for our president's birthday celebration, but it could be expanded into an orchestral piece. And we're thinking that it would fit well into this program, given that it is the birthday of the city. We have engaged Terry Hanley Audio Systems to provide the stage, the risers, a roof, power, sound, and light. We're going to investigate whether it's also possible to have 1 or more jumbotrons there, but that's an excursion we have not yet embarked on planning on or thinking about. That was something that was mentioned that we should explore as a possibility, which we will do. We'd like to use the parking closest to the community house there and the interior of the community house for the musicians, for their to get them set up and dressed, and some parking on the other side of the street for the musicians and the staff. This is just an estimate of how many people that would entail. And in talking to the chief administrative officer, Jill Cahill, we can work out shuttles from West Gloucester MBTA, the high school parking lot, maybe several other locations in the city with Cape Ann Transit Authority to get people there and out again after the end of the concert. This is the site plan. There's one change that we're probably going to do based on comments from Joe Cahill, which is to not to locate the stage in front of Tablet Rock on the hillside, but to locate it on the flat down here, just above the beach, with the back of the stage to the harbor. And every place would be open seating. Our preliminary budget is $72,000. These are the major elements of expense right here. We are actively pursuing grants. We've already received $2,500 from Applied Materials. We're waiting on a grant from the Mass Cultural Council, also from the Institution for Savings, New England Biolabs, and we're also going to be hustling some individual and corporate donations. So, and we've asked the mayor, because the mayor has told myself and Fran on several occasions, in light of this, when he heard about this project, that, quote, the city has money, unquote. We're not going to go back and renew our ask until we're a bit further along in our own fundraising, which will hopefully be this month or next at the latest. And talking to Ms. Cahill, she's, I think, working on a plan for porta potties for the park for the duration of the events over the course of the summer. So I'm waiting to hear about that. We need police and traffic control and trash and recycle containers. And that is the presentation, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you put your site plan back up, please, for us?
Yeah, sure. Hang on. Where did it go? Where did it go?
Perfect. So you moved the stage down by the water.
That was Jill Cahill's suggestion, given that there's a slope in front of the rock. I think that makes eminent sense.
Okay. Are all the speakers going to be facing inland? Any type of amplification or out?
Yes. We are going to have sound amplification.
Okay.
And, I haven't had Terry Hanley audio folks come out and walk the ground and make specific location suggestions, but we'll do that. And anybody on this group who wants to do that, when we set that up, we're going to wait for the warmer weather, is most welcome to attend.
Okay. My concern is the water. If you set your stage up near the water, which I'm not objecting to, in the past, we had concerns about boats off Cressy's Beach. Chad, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here, Bill.
So is this going to be a concern for this event? People are going to want to sit out there at night in their boats, and because I know the waters out on Cressy Beach are not exactly safe boating waters, right?
No, there's a big rock there. We didn't have, for that big concert they did a couple years back, maybe 6 or 7 boats anchored up, and they really couldn't hear the music. So, and I don't think, I don't see it being a water issue.
And that was the same idea, right? The speakers were turned in so that you really couldn't hear them because they were facing inward, right? Inland.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. What about traffic, Joe? Do we have any plans on how we're going to handle 7,000 people?
No, but I'll go back and look at, like what Chad just referenced, the Riverfest from a few years back. Probably try to follow that. I know we had some issues with parking. I don't know if this will be as big as a draw as that was, but we'll definitely go back and review those plans and try to put plans in place for it.
Okay.
What was that event you were referencing?
Riverfest, I think it was 2 years ago, perhaps.
Okay.
2019, I think it was. Actually, that was 4 years ago because of COVID.
Would it be possible to give us a copy of those plans just so we understand what you're thinking about?
Sure. I'll have to go back and see what I have, but if you want to shoot me an email, you can certainly communicate that way.
I'll talk to Joanne. I'm sure she has your email.
Yeah.
I certainly don't.
Absolutely.
And Mark, do we know, well, I know you know, how many cars does Stagefoot Park hold?
It won't hold 5,000 to 7,000, that's for sure. Probably holds around 1,000. When we did Riverfest, we used Stagecourt Park, the high school, O'Malley, Magnolia Woods. I think that might have been it. And they ran shuttles from the high school, from O'Malley and Magnolia Woods. We're gonna need to nail down a date, like soon, and because what's gonna happen is if we say the concert's gonna be on Saturday, and then on Friday, we decide to move it to Sunday, I gotta pay all my guys overtime for Friday, and then again for the next night when they actually do it. So if we can pinpoint a date as close to the event, I have to give my guys 48 hours notice if we're gonna change their overtime, so that could be an issue.
Well, it wouldn't be Friday that we change it. We would make a decision a week, 10 days out based on a long-term forecast. But this event is weather dependent. If it's raining cats and dogs, we can't put it on, period. And that's true on either day, either Saturday or Sunday. So, and we'd have to give notice to our vendor too, who wouldn't come in and set it up in that event trial.
Where were you thinking of having the bands and the other people you were referencing park?
In the parking lot or, in the parking lot.
Okay,
And you're gonna use what building?
Well, the community house that's there, right?
So where the bathroom.
visitor center.
Huh?
And the house that's at Stagefoot Park, right?
Yes.
Another building, that's why I'm getting confused. Would it be easier for them to park somewhere down there, Mark?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really, they can park anywhere in the parking lot. It's just we'll have to reserve those spots and then just work around it.
Yes, because they're gonna have their instruments to carry, and some of them are gonna be heavy percussion, bass fiddles, that kind of stuff.
Okay. And you said you're gonna be setting up chairs?
No, we're not setting up chairs.
No chairs, okay, no chairs.
No, people are gonna bring their own seating.
What about vendors?
We were not planning on having any vendors. That is completely up to the city.
Okay, so no vendors. And how long is this? About 2 hours?
Um,
Hour and a half?
I'd say probably 2 to 3.
Okay,
Depending, we might have the Dockside start warming the Karat up about 6:30. The symphony comes on at 7:30, and then it's about an hour and a half performance.
Does that include the 20-minute intermission or not?
Yeah. Yes.
It does, okay, so you
Typically-
started at,
Yeah.
so you're looking at about maybe 9 o'clock, 9:30 the latest?
9 o'clock, 9:30 the latest. That's correct.
Okay,
so this is a pretty large area along with traffic too. For that amount of time, you're gonna have quite a detail, Joe, right? Thinking for police in this large area, especially down on the end where it's dark.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd probably have to make Howe a one-way, like we've done in the past for large events up there. In the traffic, the pedestrians crossing the street from the parking lot to the park. Yeah,
Yes,
it's-
yeah. Probably
it's-
provide a couple officers for those areas.
Yeah, in each end of Howe Ave. I don't know how much we need in the crowd. It's probably going to be a pretty tame crowd, I'm guessing. But I think we need more to focus on the traffic and the pedestrian crossing the roadway there.
Yeah. There was one question we had that Jody brought up to me when we were talking the other day, which is about the people allowed to bring in alcohol and coolers and stuff. And is that strictly prohibited? And if it is strictly prohibited, is there what kind of enforcement would there be?
Well, it is prohibited. You would have to go through the liquor board and have an established area to serve alcohol. Other than that, it'd be enforced just like we enforce the beaches or the park on any other day.
Yeah, we're not planning on serving any alcohol. I was wondering about the
That should probably be part of your advertising then, that no alcohol is involved.
Yeah,
Or
okay,
allowed, rather.
we can do that.
Okay.
We can do that.
Mark, do you know anything about Miss Kate Cahill's plans for porta potties? Have you been involved in any of those?
The,
I'm sorry, I'm in Mark Cole.
no, I haven't, Mel.
Okay. So at this point where we don't know of what the plan is for porta potties, I would expect the event to provide necessary at this time. If the city can come up with a plan and leave them there and they're usable, that's fine. But with that amount of people, you are going to have to provide some type of porta potties in a couple locations for the crowds.
Right, understood.
And for parking,
Joanne, you're muted.
I'm muted.
No, Joanne is.
Oh.
She wants to ask a question.
Oh, sorry, Joanne.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just putting my hand up so Bill knows I want to ask a couple of questions. That's all. You guys can continue on, and when you're ready, I'll just jump in.
I wanted to jump onto the parking. You had mentioned the MBTA West Gloucester parking. That is owned by the MBTA, and you would need their permission to use that for parking, and contact them and have their permission on that.
I was thinking more about people arriving by train.
Okay, that's fine. That's actually a blessing if we can get them all to arrive by train. But, you know, I think you should touch base with Mark Cole concerning how we park for the Riverfest event that was here. That's probably going to make a better solution to solve your parking problem. Arriving and leaving by train is going to depend on the train schedules. I'm not familiar with those. But I know on a weekend, they're kind of reduced quite a bit to Gloucester. Your stage and lighting, that will require a building permit from my office. So they'll need to contact the building department's office for a building permit. And you will need electrical permits for the work that's going to be done out there for hooking everything up. So those are two permits that will be required separately, independent from this process. And we also will do inspections prior to the event taking place. We'll walk through, make sure the staging's good, everything's set up, and take a safety check of the area that probably involved. That'll be the building department, electrical inspector, fire inspector. There's not going to be any vending there. If there's no food vending or anything, probably eliminate the health department. But that's the crew that usually takes a walk through all these events. Do we have any other questions and concerns from other members? Joanne?
Okay, so I just want to clarify, Tom, on your application, you asked for a road closure. So were you thinking of closing Howe Ave? Is that why you? No?
It was according to what was suggested about making it one way.
Okay. Okay.
But, you know, at some point, the parking lot gets full. It would probably be prudent to close the road to further traffic from Stacy Boulevard.
Okay. The only reason I'm bringing this up is when an application says yes to road closures, that means the road is closed completely and that you have to go to the city council subcommittee, planning and development, to close the road.
Please.
So you don't want that, correct?
No, please remove that
Okay.
indication. Thank you.
Okay. No road closures. Okay. I was a little confused on the dates because you're talking about the 29th, the 30th, and on your application, you have the 30th and the 31st. So are we blocking off the 29th, 30th, and 31st?
And the 28th.
So July,
No, yes, we'll need a data set. We'll need a data set up. Okay. And if the setup's on Friday, then everything will go off on Saturday. If we have to move the concert to Sunday because of the weather forecast, and Sunday's still okay, then we'll set up on Saturday, and then break down on Monday.
okay, all right. Yeah, because I'll have to change that on your application also, because you only have the 30th and the 31st on your application.
Yeah, the
You have
date.
the Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, at the point where I put the application, and I don't think we coordinated completely with the Gloucester 400 committee about the window.
Okay. All right.
The window they have on their website is 27 through 31. So
All right, so just a question on that. Back to what Mark was talking about. You're gonna know a week ahead of time whether you're gonna cancel this for rain or not, correct?
Yeah, that's the plan.
So if all of a sudden it turns out that we thought Saturday was gonna be a sunny day and it turns out to rain, you're not capable to go back and put that to Sunday. You already blew that day. Is that correct?
You're gonna have to bear with me on that. I got my fingers crossed and hoping for the best, but yeah, probably that's correct.
Okay, okay, because if you do decide within that 48 hour,
Yeah.
48 hours mark, that you will be paying for DPW twice,
Okay,
even though they may not work. And my other question to that is, will there be some type of security protecting that stage and equipment and everything out there while it's set up during the day before it'll be, so it'll be set up during the day correctly on Saturday, sitting there?
that's a very good question, and the answer is not at present, but we will make that happen.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna want some type of security. Okay,
Just one thing to keep in mind, we have a wedding booked on the 29th, that Saturday, from 4 to 6. So that's probably not gonna be a day we can do the concert unless somebody wants to move that wedding to a different day.
This is the first I've heard about that. Where's the
Well, this
wedding?
is the first. First I heard it wasn't gonna be the 30th or the 31st.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hopefully it goes off on Sunday the 30th and there's no issues.
Only because when you put your application in, those are the dates that this committee saw. So we were not aware of the Saturday. There was no
We don't normally
communication.
we don't normally block off 5 days for an event, because I mean, as of right now, we're looking at the last 5 days of July where we can't book anything really at the park at this point. Because we don't know what day is gonna be a setup day, what day is gonna be the concert, so. I mean, hopefully it goes off on the 30th and we use the 20th. I mean, if we're doing the setup on the 29th and the takedown on the 31st, that's not an issue.
Well, okay. I prefer not to be restricted to just one date.
What
uh,
about Friday?
I'm sorry?
What about having the first date be the 28th? Have it be the 28th or 30th?
We could do that. I think that would be a Friday night.
Yeah, you'd have to
Um,
set up Thursday.
Can it, okay. Yeah, and then if, well, then we'd be setting up on Saturday for the 30th. Would that affect the wedding?
That won't be a problem. That won't be a problem.
Where is the wedding?
It's at the gazebo.
Okay. Well, I assume they wouldn't want us setting up between the hours of 4 and 6.
Well, if not, I don't think that would be an issue. The more of the issue would be the
Parking.
parking availability for the wedding and guests, and the fact that, you know, everybody's coming in for a concert as you're trying to have a wedding ceremony on the gazebo.
Okay, but you think we could work around them?
I
and
think you
set
can
up-
work around either a setup or a takedown of equipment. Because my guess is it's not gonna take you all day to set up equipment. And the wedding is at 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, so usually that wedding is in the middle of that. We give them a 2-hour block to get there, you know, have the wedding and then to get out of there afterwards. So more often than not, the wedding is towards the middle of that 2-hour block.
So, may I ask when the wedding was booked? And I guess it's.
It was
because-
probably booked late last year or earlier this month. I don't know for sure. I don't do the bookings. I can find out.
No, it's all right. I mean, you were relying on what we put in our application, right?
Right, I had blocked off the 30th and the 31st, because those were the 2 dates. One was given as the date, one was given as the rain date. I didn't see anything about needing, you know, set up and breakdown and
Okay,
that stuff, so.
all right. So, Joanne, I'd like to amend our application then to put in setup on the 27th. Primary date 28th, Friday night. Rain date, rain date, the 30th, set up on the 29th.
So I'm thinking that what we should do is come back to the next meeting for this, continue this to the next meeting. We're not, obviously, we're not going to, you know what the situation is with the wedding. And we can keep the rest of it open for you. But I think we need a few more details answered in the plan. I'm not sure we have all the right details. And frankly, I'm a little uncomfortable changing things right on the fly as we're going here.
Okay,
without
that's
really
fine.
looking through the detail.
That's fine. When would the next meeting be?
It'll be in Joey, you have that date? It's the first,
February 2nd,
I'm sorry, February 2nd,
February 2nd.
February 2nd. And we
Okay.
can finalize these deeds, especially with the traffic plan, where you're going to be doing the excess parking. We want to see more details to this come through to make sure that everything's in line and we get everything lined up.
All right.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question on the parking where you said like the CAO would help, would assist. So is she going to secure those dates, O'Malley, GHF and all that? Or do you have to do that through the school department?
I'm going to assume they're going to need to set that all up. That's why
Yeah.
I'm thinking, that's why I'm suggesting we continue this, so you can confirm all those dates, make sure there's no other conflicts at the schools or anything, and then get a good traffic plan together. And, so we secured all these things at once instead of trying to put stuff together and then find out as soon as we vote on this, next week, nothing's working. I'd rather make sure we come back with a plan that everything's working on.
Can I request that in the interim that there's no other events scheduled during this time frame?
Yeah, at this point, we'll hold the
Yeah,
date.
at this point, I've got it blocked off. That wedding was booked on August 22nd. I would suggest that before our next meeting, that perhaps the police, DPW, administration, and Cape Ann Symphony get together for a meeting to kind of iron out some of the details. Because again, I've heard nothing on the porta potties.
I will find out.
We could use the Riverfest model as kind of a model for this. Maybe it won't, I don't know that it'll be as large as the Riverfest was, but it's certainly a good model for everybody to follow.
Exactly. I think that's a good point.
Sometime this month to have that off, that off book meeting would be appreciated. I know that Jody's going to be out the month of February, and I think she needs to be involved right up front.
So
So
that's,
Jody, I'll stand by, and if you want to, if the group wants to float a few dates, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing I just want to mention, fire, Kevin or Tom, any concerns, EMS services needed?
Yes, we would probably have to hire an ambulance, an ALS ambulance during this concert. Just the size, the volume, the amount of people that are going to be showing up. I think we would need an ambulance there.
Okay, so I would suggest that each department just comment on this application, what is required, so that everybody can see the comments. I know they're making notes for their own department. So just in case there's a question, the administration, will ask me, on what would happen, at this meeting, so that you can put in what is required as details, what is required for EMS, what is required for building, Mark, and then we'll just put in a note that, an internal meeting is required between the administration and public safety and the DPW. Okay, prior to the February 2nd meeting, and I can put that in there, but it would be helpful if each department, whatever is required, would go in and put comment on this application.
Yeah, I think the application, based on what I saw online, everything was checked off with green check marks. So, but we're happy to, I figured that wasn't sufficient, which is why we're having this meeting. So I'm
Well, let me tell you, yeah,
I'm all for working through all the details.
yeah. So let me tell you what happened. I had that application on hold, and for some reason, there's been a glitch in the system and it just went through the whole process. Okay, because I was told by the administration last year to hold that application until they had your meeting with you. And I didn't know when that was, but for some reason, because there's another glitch I found, which is irrelevant to this, but your application was on hold. But for some reason, if they did an upgrade with something, it just went through all the departments. But what usually happens is that, and maybe we should put it on the website, is even though you're checked off online, it still needs to be approved at a formal meeting. Okay, and that's why I ask if anybody has comments to put it in for this application or any application, so that we know, because if we have to put a hold on it, we'll put a hold on it. But the final application and permit is not released, even though everybody signed off on it, until all the requirements are met and I'm told that I can release the final permit. So on that, and maybe we should just put that on the website, because you're not the only one that just assumes as soon as we check it off that it is approved. There is final approval. There's the matter of a certificate insurance naming the city as a third party for $1 million. I don't know if that's going to come from the symphony or the 400th committee, because as part of that, I'm not sure.
We can get, I can ask, I would assume it's not coming from Gloucester 400. I would assume it's coming from us.
Okay. All right. So that is a requirement too for a special event.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
And if there are any other questions that you would like me to just disperse to the other departments, or I can forward it, you can just shoot them to me if you want, and I can just forward it to all the members of the committee.
All right. Thank you, Joanne.
You're welcome.
Thank
All right,
you.
anybody have, are you finished, Joanne? I'm sorry.
Yes, I am.
Okay, anybody have any other comments they want Tom to consider before our next meeting, so we can get everything straightened away at the next meeting?
Well, that's what the interim meeting is going to be about, I think.
Right, but I want to make sure nobody else has anything to bring up right now. So not seeing that, I'll accept a motion to continue to February 2nd.
All right. I don't think you need a motion to continue. You just continue.
All right, we don't need to vote on it, then we'll just continue this to February 2nd, and we'll see you back then on February 2nd, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next special event is special event 2268, Heritage Days Festival. Gloucester 400th on October 7th through 8th, 2023 at Stagefoot Park Area C. Somebody here for them?
Oh, is it Isabel? Wait a minute.
Testing, testing.
We can hear you.
Hi, everybody. So I want to make this, it's a 2-day festival.
So, excuse me, before you start, name and address for the record, please.
Isabel Pett, 12 Beach Road, Gloucester.
Thank you.
Events manager for the 400th. So it's going to be a 2-day festival, but I want to make it as straightforward and path of least resistance as possible. So I just uploaded a really rough draft of a site plan to the applications if you guys want to go look at that. But again, it's the setup will be very similar to like Waterfront Festival in terms of having small tents with vendors. The vendors will be singer-songwriters. The O'Malley Middle School is putting on a cookbook project. Some, Cape Ann Finns may end up having a booth, but it's a heritage festival. So it's embracing all of our varied ethnicities in town. So we don't have a full vendor list finalized yet. However, I can tell you the genre of the vendors. So no alcohol, is absolutely zero alcohol. We will be planning to have food vendors. However, each food vendor will be required to have their own pre-existing permits for mobile food. So, whether it's a food truck that's setting up a pop-up or a catering company or what have you. So we'll make sure that all of those permits are settled for anybody who's serving food. Singer-songwriters, we will not be having any stage or large amplification. It's going to be super troubadour style. So it'll either be no amplification at all or just a small portable amp. However, if that is the case, we will need access to power. We can get Ringo to help us with that also if needed. He's on board for helping us out with the 400th. There will be some free space set aside for some dance and theater, but again, the theater also will not be mic'd. It's going to be really, really low-key festival. Let's see, let me just look at my list of things to tell you. Same thing with the porta potties. We're hoping the city will provide them. If not, we will provide porta potties. If there's we're hoping for, I want to say 2,000 people a day. So if you have some sort of formula of how many porta potties per head count, let me know and I'll make sure that we have that squared away. Parking. So we will be giving details for public parking / reserving. If you don't have a parking sticker, how to reserve at the parking lot at Stage Fort. We'll make sure that's all visible on the website. And then we are trying to meet with CADA to figure out some shuttles, either from the train stations for people who are coming in via train, or discussing what potential parking lots would work for that. And we would work with, obviously, the city to see lots would be best, or if we want to submit a permit through high school and make sure that the high school parking lot's available. That's all TBD, but it's on my list following the conversation with CADA. Vendor parking, most of our vendors will be local, so we're hoping that that won't be an issue. For out-of-town vendors, we will likely pay for a spot for them once they unload to park in the city parking lot at Stage Fort. To set up, no day before, no day after, nothing left overnight. It'll be early, set up your tents, kind of like a farmer's market style, close down at the end of the event, and then come back with all your gear again for the next day. We were hoping to do 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. for hours each day of the event. However, I know Mark put in the permit that there is a wedding at the gazebo. So we'll need to discuss how we can work around that, or what limitations we will have, considering that will be happening on I believe that's on the Sunday, on the 8th. So we can talk about that an hour later. I don't know. Rain plan. We are investigating potential indoor private property locations, not city owned, for if we need to move it indoors, we would not move it to a different date in Stage Fort Park. So if it rains, we'll try to make a decision at least a week out by looking at the weather. If it's light rain, obviously we're New Englanders and we hope people can tough it out. But if it's, torrential downpours, we're investigating indoor options to move it. I think that's everything that I had on my list to go through. So I'll let you guys prod me.
All right, thank you very much. Indoor, how many people are you expecting to attend this?
They're hoping for 2,000 each day, but it's kind of, we're not sure. Yeah.
Okay, and have you thought of indoor? I mean, to move 2,000, an event to indoor somewhere, expect 2,000 people.
We would need to, if we moved it indoors, we would switch to a reservation system whereby it's a free event to attend, but you need to register for a time slot on Eventbrite.
Yeah, but I'm still getting concerned with the amount of people showing up to somewhere where at this point, we don't know where that would be, which is going to cause could cause traffic problems, parking problems. Everything goes along with moving an event.
Sure.
It's kind of difficult to say okay to something. We don't know where it's going to go.
Right. I don't have an answer for where the indoor space would be at this moment. Aside from just knowing that we wouldn't push the date at Stage Fort. But I'm working on it.
All right. Did you say the vendors were just food?
It would be food, and then like potentially arts and crafts or informational booths or singer-songwriters, but not, yeah, no liquor sales.
And you're catering to local vendors?
Yes, ideally.
So there's no group that you're gonna hire in a company that's gonna be bringing in vendors?
No. It would be, they would all individually apply to be a vendor with me, or whether it's an application, a formal application process or not. I would need to approve every individual vendor. It would not be through a organization that just brings in festival people.
All right. Questions from members?
I had a question. It's October 7th and 8th, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Only because I saw a comment, Mark.
Yeah, I was confused between this and the next event and was looking at
Okay.
the wrong
All right.
one. There's nothing at the park on the 7th and the 8th, so you're
Oh,
good to
great.
go. You're
Oh,
good to go those
awesome.
2 days.
Oh, that's a huge relief. Okay,
The other thing is that we're not normally charging at the park in October. So I don't know if, I mean, I suppose we could try to use the parking reservation system that we use in the summertime for people. I don't know if people are planning on coming like they do for Waterfront Festival, where
Yeah,
they might be there for an hour. Again, that might be something we should discuss as we get closer to the end of the summer as to how we're gonna staff it, because you're gonna need somebody there to help
Right.
with the parking. Otherwise, it's just gonna be chaos in the parking.
right.
lot.
I wasn't really thinking about the fact that all that would be probably shut down at that point. So yeah, I was thinking it would still be in full staffed. So yeah, we would need to talk about that.
Okay,
And I do think that it would be helpful if it was a reservation system just to manage. We don't need a line of cars with a full parking lot. You know, that's why the
Yeah.
reservation system came about in the
yeah.
first.
Once we get our system up and running this spring, late spring, early summer, we can figure out how we can use it to do this event.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Isabel, you would need to provide a certificate of insurance
Yep.
for this
Yeah.
event and upload it to this, your application.
Yep.
And I know you said vendors, but if anybody's selling non-food goods, it'll be a transient vendor application,
Okay.
on that. So the singer-songwriters probably won't need one, but if you're selling T-shirts, any
Okay.
kind of things promoting the 400th,
Okay.
you would probably, cups or anything, you would probably need a vendor permit.
And that's right online, I assume.
The transient vendor permit, I believe it is. Yes,
Okay.
it's still on the city clerk's page, yes.
Okay, cool. And I just thought of one last thing. We are working on, there will be a community art project happening during the festival. So the plan for that, we're working with Tracy at Art Haven and Courtney at Rocky Neck Community. It'll be net weaving, and we likely will be stretching it across trees. So it would be an installation that will stay there overnight. It would not be anything, it's literally cloth and nets, nothing of high value. Like we wouldn't need to be guarding it overnight. We would just need permission to leave it there overnight. And then the question would be, what do we leave it up as an installation? That I think that's something that I would probably talk about with the mayor first. I'm fine taking it down at the close of the event if we need to, but that is something that would be left up overnight.
So that's something we're gonna wanna see and
Yeah.
probably look at while it's there.
Okay.
I'm not so concerned about somebody stealing it. I'm
Right,
more concerned about in the middle of the night, somebody running into it or.
right. Or a
I can do it or
coyote
something.
being stuck in it
something
the next morning. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm working with Tracy and Courtney right now on like designing a plan for it. So we can come in a similar sense to, I don't know if it needs to be formally with the full SEAC, but if there's a specific department head that we should bring the drawn out plan for and just review it ahead of time, you let me know, and we should have that figured out fairly soon.
Yeah, that'd probably be through my department and with the
Okay.
fire inspector. We'd like to take a look at that.
Okay, I'm gonna make note of that.
I probably, off the top of my head, mentioned we probably want something like maybe some solar lights or something on it so it's lit up.
Okay,
Or a
okay,
matter of make sure people can see what's there if you're leaving it overnight.
sure. That, I think that would be pretty simple. I'm just writing this down. Okay, great.
All right, we have any other questions, concerns? So I guess I don't have any problems with the event and how it's set up. My real issue is if it rains and where they're gonna have that event.
Right, right.
So I think I'd be willing to approve this today with the condition that she comes back to the committee when she locates where she'd have it inside if it's rain and if she does. Any comments on that?
Why can't she put in another application?
That's
Right.
probably a good idea, Joanne. That way at least it's in there. already.
Because then after I'm gonna have to go in and revise everything. So I'm just saying, we approve this for outdoors, fine.
Sure.
If they need an indoor, you know, in the SEAC, I mean, like, if they're doing it on private property, they just need our approval. There are no fees involved or anything. It's just us approving that and make sure the traffic wherever they're having it, if they need, you know, fire services, EMS, because they're having a lot of people. I don't know what the threshold is. If you need EMS, how many people are involved in an event, Kevin? You muted.
It is, I think he has about 500, over 500. That's what you have to provide an EMS,
Mm,
Okay.
public safety assignment.
Okay, so
2,000.
my suggestion would be she would put a whole new application in if it's an indoor event.
Yes, I'd go with that. So
Okay.
do we want to hear a motion? Can I hear a motion entertaining that?
Motion to approve special event 22-68 Heritage Day Festival Gloucester 400th on October 7th and 8th, 2023, Stage Fort Park, Area C.
With the condition?
I don't think there needs to be a condition that if she's gonna put a second permit in.
Okay,
for-
okay.
Second that.
I got a second from Tom. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Chad Johnson,
Yes,
Kevin Gargan,
Yes,
Bill Fitzgerald,
Yes,
Rock Cole,
Yes,
Ron Sayes,
Yes,
and Joanna Sinos, yes. The motion passes.
Thank you very much and good luck with your event.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Have a good day. Our next special event is special event number 2276, Greater Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce Blackburn Brew Fest on September 16th, 2023 at Stagefoot Park, Area C. We're going to have a celebration for my birthday.
Hello, this is Michelle Pepin on behalf of the Greater Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce. My address is 88 Topsfield Road in Ipswich, Massachusetts.
Thank you, Michelle. Can you give us an overview of what this is going to entail?
Yes, I'll try to do that, and please ask questions if I leave something out. So this would be the second annual Blackburn Brew Fest. And last year the attendance was 1,000. This year we're hoping to include 500 tickets sold. It would include about 75 workers or staff. And we would like to use the parking on site. Both the, I'm just not sure what you call it, the lower grassy lot that leads from the paved parking area down to the water. And with the increased number of participants this coming year, we probably would need to use the orchard as well, but you could advise us on that. The time of the event would be about approximately 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. to include all setup and breakdown. It's a one-day event. It would be rain or shine. We do put up snow fencing on the entire area beginning at about 7 a.m. that Saturday, and it is taken down by 6 p.m. that evening. The alcohol would be served from approximately 12:30 until 5. There are about 30 brewers. There might be a few more than that this coming year. We could give you an exact number if needed. And some of them will want to sell merchandise. We did request transient vendor permits last year for those. I won't have that information for a little bit. What am I leaving out that I could also include for you?
Porta potties, the little blue squares on your plan, they're porta potties?
Yes. So last year, I believe we had 15. I'm trying to look at my application. Joanne, do you know? I know we needed to almost double it for this coming year. Let me see, porta potties.
I don't have last year's application on here with me, so I'm not sure what was provided. Did you provide
Oh,
the
yeah.
porta
So,
potties, or did the city?
okay, last year, I believe, no, we rented them. Last year, I believe there was either 8 or 10, and we were going to do at least 15 this year. There was definitely a big need for them. And we need at least 10 trash receptacles and 10 recycling receptacles if they're available.
Okay, so the beer is being distributed from under the tents, the 2 tents, correct?
There are 2 tents, that's correct, yes.
And those 2 tents will require building permits for them. 'cause they're
Yes,
occupied.
yes.
Excuse me. The, you show 4 trucks. You having 4 or you having more of those on?
So last year we had 4 food vendors, which was not nearly enough. And this year we would like to include 8 food vendors.
8, okay. And of course, you realize they're gonna be inspected by the Board of Health and approved.
Yes, yes.
So, so I got really, it's really, my understanding was a very good event last year. Everybody had a great time. So hopefully it'll be the same. I didn't hear of any problems. Joe, do we have any concerns down there, any problems?
Not that I can recall. I think it was pretty smooth.
Okay. Mark, any problems with the way the grounds are left or anything?
No, I don't think we had any issues parking or with the grounds.
How many people do you expect to get? I'm sorry.
Okay, so last year we sold 1,000 tickets and this year we'd like to sell 1,500.
Okay. All right. So fire department gonna provide EMS on that or kind of? You're muted, Kevin.
Sorry. Yeah, I probably have to do EMS on this, the size, 1,500 people, that many people, we probably would have to provide a ambulance there.
I believe you did come last year. There was definitely a medical emergency service tent.
Okay.
Okay, and is that something we need to apply for separately?
Nope, we just have to put it in your application.
Okay, Joanne, should I amend that or?
Kevin can put that in on a comment on the fire department, what is required, and you'll be able to see that. It goes to the whole committee and it'll go to you. So like I said, any comments from like police, DPW, building, if you go in the application and put the comments in, everyone can see that, and you'll also see all the comments on what is required.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Are there any other questions about the event?
I don't have any. Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Not seeing any. Joe, what's it, two detail for this? 2-man detail?
Probably would be. I'll talk to Sergeant Connors from the get his point of view from the liquor board as well.
Okay. All right, perfect. And not see any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Motion to accept special event permit number 22-76, Greater Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce's Blackburn Brew Festival on September 16th, 2023 at Stage 4 Park, Area C.
Here, a second?
Second.
A second from Tom. Any further comment? Seeing none, Joanne, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Chad Johnson,
Yes.
Kevin Gargan,
Yes.
Bill Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Rob Cole,
Yes,
Tom Sayers,
Yes.
and Joanne Sinows, yes. Motion passes.
All right. Very good, Michelle. Good luck, and thank you for putting this on.
Thank you very much.
Our next event would be special event number 2277, second annual Gloucester Soul Salty Stroll Walk Festival on January 21st, 22nd, 2023 on Pleasant Street, Main Street and City Hall. Is there somebody here for that?
Yes, hello. You guys hear me coming through?
Yes, name and address for the record, please.
Fabulous. My name is Miranda Hines, Hynes, and my address is 57 Quarry Street in Gloucester.
Okay, you want to give us an overview of your event?
Sure. So this is the second time we've done this, but it grew enough this year. We wanted to make sure to bring it in front of you all. We have 10 ice sculptures coming to Gloucester. They will be spread out around the Cape Ann Museum, Pleasant Street, and we just added one down in Harbor Loop. They will all be on private property. And we've specifically talked to David Fields, who I think has conferred with some of you all. They'll all be on kind of grassy or dirt areas so that they can melt in place and melt into the land rather than freezing on sidewalks. The only public place we're asking for is outside City Hall. We've talked with Mayor Verga about that. And again, putting it on the grassy area around the flagpole so that we can leave it in place because the ice sculptures kind of normally melt where they are. So the event itself will be 2 days, Saturday, January 21st and Sunday, January 22nd. We'll have these ice sculptures around. Some of them will be put in location the day before on Friday, January 20th. We have participating businesses and organizations all doing indoor events in their own properties. So that includes the Cape Ann Museum, Maritime Gloucester, Bookstore of Gloucester, Magma, Art Haven. But nothing happening outside, no road closures, and nothing else I think that'll impact the city. So that's the update on our event.
All right, thank you very much. Hopefully it'll be cold enough so they all last at least a day.
That is the goal. Fingers crossed, everybody.
All right. It seems like a very nice event. Keep you walking around town and
Yeah.
enjoying the downtown area. Do you have any comments or concerns from anybody? How many people do we expect to attend this? Do you know?
Last year we had 400 each day and it was spread throughout the whole festival. So this from 1 to 4 p.m. This year because we're expecting more people, we're doing it longer. So it's 10 to 5 both days, but I think it'll be a pretty steady flow of 100 to 200 people over the course of the day per hour.
Okay. And is there people along the route to direct people to these, or is it, here's a map, go find it?
We have a map. Yep. So we'll have printed maps at the museum that have the locations on it for people to find, and that'll be accessible online as well.
All right, excellent. So it starts at the museum?
Yes. Yep. Yep. And Mayor Verga will be doing a kickoff at City Hall. He's giving some remarks on the Sunday when he's back from a conference.
All right. Any other questions, concerns for anybody? Not seeing any. I'll entertain a motion to accept.
Make a motion to accept special event number 22-77, second annual Gloucester's So Salty Stroll Walk Festival on January 21st and 22nd, 2023, Pleasant Street, Main Street, and City Hall.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Tom seconded it, and a roll call vote, please.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Chad Johnson,
Yes.
Kevin Gargan,
Yes.
Bill Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
yes,
Tom Sayers,
Yes.
Joanne Sinows, yes. The motion passes.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Wonderful. Thank you all. And in the
You're
future, if you want to bring a snowplow or a salt truck, let us know. It'd be fun to do something together with the city.
All right, excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're down to the consent agenda. Has everybody reviewed the permits that are listed on the consent agenda? Any comments from anybody on them? So I'm just going to read the event number. I'm not going to go through all the titles unless somebody feels I need to. So special event 2278, special event 2279, 2280, 2281, 2282, and 2283. Any comments or concerns on any of those events? Not seeing any, then I would accept a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent agenda for the listed events.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Tom. No further comments. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
Chad Johnson,
Yes.
Kevin Gargan,
Yes.
Bill Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
Yes.
Tom Sayers,
Yes.
and Joanne Seals. Yes, the motion passes on the consent agenda.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So are we all done? Or I have one item that I'd like to bring up that's not anticipated, but it's not being solved. Okay. The special events calendar. You haven't seen these, well, you've seen these events, you can go in, but they're not assigned to you yet because we don't have anyone to do the special events calendar. Someone was assigned to it and it's not being done. I don't know if I can bypass and have the calendar and then have it go down each department. I'm not sure about that. But until we figure this out, I guess everybody has to keep their own individual calendar.
All right, I know community development, I look here, it's assigned to, this event I'm on, 2277 is assigned to David Fields.
All of them assigned to David Fields.
Yeah, because it was being handled through community development. And I know they haven't replaced their clerk yet. So I'm hoping they replace their clerk, that this continues to be one of their chores. So unless somebody's willing to take it on until we can get that filled, I think we have to go with Joanne's advice, is we're gonna have to just keep track of it ourselves. Unfortunately, it's a bad year to do it because it's the 400th is out there, and you know, we're trying not to, trying to save dates for the 400, give them priority. But yeah, on the other hand, we've been asking for that for a year and a half to get some dates, and we still haven't got any. I did talk to Sal this morning. He stopped in to tell me he couldn't make the meeting, and mentioned it to him that we need to get these dates, and he was going to try to get some for us. People talking today, it seems like they're saving dates for people, but nobody's communicating that to us.
Yeah.
I don't know, but when we issue a date similar to like the wedding Mark had at the park, that's too bad. We've been asking for these for a year and a half. And if they don't feel it's important to give it to us, I don't think it's important for us to save them dates for them. We need help doing these things. We can't be everywhere.
And also on some of these, I'm sorry,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but Mark is trying to talk, but he's muted.
I don't know if he's trying to talk to us or he's talking to somebody in his office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, the only other thing is that sometimes people bypass like the special events and go directly to the administration or the police or the fire with their events. And then that's where I need this, these members to put in their comments, like they went to the public safety plan, the required details or whatever. Because sometimes when I look at the event and I have a question or something's not filled out right, I do contact the applicant and they said, oh no, I already talked to the police department, I already talked to the fire department. So if anybody contacts you on these events, just put a comment in the application, that's all. That's all I ask. To be honest with you, I inherited the agenda, I inherited minutes, and I really don't want to do the calendar, okay? So from my predecessor, because I do minutes, or one of my staff does it. So I'm really hoping that, I don't know, from my understanding, Bill, whether community development will still continue with that, because it was my understanding Jill volunteered at that time, the clerk there, unless, something is different. So I just wanted to bring it up to the members. The calendar is a good reference so that we could see if there's anything coinciding. I have printed out the 2022 calendar of the annual event so that if I see an event come through the first time, I will contact the applicant like I did the Cape Ann Chamber for the Brew Fest and said that date is not available because there's an annual event on that. So until we come up with another plan or some other solution, I guess we just have to keep our own calendars.
Okay.
All right.
Yep, and just again on Joanne's note about comments, when I go through and fill these out, I've been just clicking, yeah, you need a tent permit or you need this. I haven't been using the comment. I think, for the building permits, you use the comments constantly. It's a great way to talk to the applicant. Only the applicant can see the comments, or people on this committee who has the authority to. Otherwise, the general public can never go in and read your comments. But I find the comments work very well. So, if you need a police detail, you put, yeah, I'm going to require a 2-man police detail, put it right in the comments, and we know the applicant got it. If you're putting it in and filling out the application, the applicant's only going to see it if they go in and know to look for it. And most of these people don't know enough to go in to look for it. So I'd highly recommend we start using the comments more than just filling in the other side of the application. You do need to fill in the application because that's what prints out on the regular permit and puts conditions to the permit. Jill was kind of on us this morning because when she goes in and looks, she can't see any comments. She doesn't know what's going on. If she wants to find out something, I'm not sure she'll be able to see the comments anyways, but at least they're there for the applicant to know what's going on. So we can try to use the comments and get those comments out to people. I think it's gonna be a better way to communicate.
I have one other question. On a special event that just came through, they talked to the DPW about using the rink. Does he have to go to the school department to use the property?
The rink belongs to us now.
All right,
Belongs to
it
the city.
does, but where he wants to put food trucks around there, is that school property or is it part of the rink property?
Well, it depends on where he wants to put them. I mean, if he's putting them,
Okay,
what's the application for?
it's for a hockey tournament at the Talbot Rink, and he said it's just showed up today or
Okay.
yesterday.
He
And
may
it
have
was-
talked to Todd, so I'd have to wait and see the application to see.
If you
where-
go in, he's got a letter attached that he talked to Mike, and I don't know if he talked to Todd, but if
Oh,
you
he
go
didn't talk to
look at his application and see, I guess he just wants to do food trucks, and it's gonna be around the building. He has a site plan there.
Okay, probably gonna put them on the outside the rink area there,
Okay,
which, I mean, if it's on a weekend, it shouldn't be an issue with the school, but we can run it by the school just to make sure.
okay, all right.
So
Right.
Mark, just my own knowledge, DPW now runs the rink completely?
DPW's been in charge of the rink for the last 10 years, 12 years.
Guess I probably should have known that. What about the parking? Does parking still belong to the school? I
Parking
mean,
lot's still the schools, yeah. If you're gonna use the parking lot, you need to check with the school to make sure there's no school event.
okay, all right, thank you. Any other comments, concerns, things to make us run a little more smoother? Seems nobody's full of ideas today. If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a second,
Second,
seconded by Mark. Roll call vote.
Kevin Garvin,
Yes.
Joanne Sinos, yes, Chad Johnson,
Yes.
Bill Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mark Cole,
yes.
Bill Sanborn,
Yes.
and Tom Sayers, yes.
Yes.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day. Enjoy.